Hey y'all, Stephanie with Minimalist Mom Life. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am answering questions for y'all that you gave me on my Instagram about a week ago. So my Instagram is Minimalist Mom Life as well. If you are not following me there, make sure to check it out. I post there way more often than I do YouTube. And on one of my posts, I was encouraging y'all to make sure you are getting your January budget together. And I said, if you have any budgeting questions for me, I would love to have them for a video. In 2018, I'm of course going to do more videos about minimalism, but I would love to continue incorporating budgeting videos in there as well because that is definitely a passion of mine. So I have a few questions. I am going to put the name of who they are from in this, and one of them has a YouTube channel, and so I will link her channel in the description box down below as well. So the first question is from the Sandrock fam, and these questions, some of them I shortened a little bit because I did write them out for this, but you'll get the gist of what they're asking. She said, what is the best, most efficient way to budget for miscellaneous toiletries and like laundry items? And that is from the Sandrock fam, if I didn't just say that. So I would say, I'm not sure if it's the best, most efficient, because every family is different, but what we do for that is toiletries like toothpaste and mouthwash, shampoo, stuff like that is all going to come just from our monthly grocery budget. Our bigger purchase items like if paper towels, toilet paper, laundry detergent, we all buy at Costco, and so those are going to be more like, you know, $20 at a time, but they're also going to last a lot longer. Like I think when we buy paper towels, it lasts us like 9 months, the one big package. We don't use a ton of them, but we do use them some. So when we buy those larger things, I put that in a house category, and I've talked about that before. Our house category is one of the budget items that doesn't change each month. Changes each month. So like our grocery budget is $400 every single month, except for like Christmas and Thanksgiving when I know I'm going to be doing a really big meal. But the other months, the house budget is something that when we go to do the budget, Jason and I always discuss what do we need in the house budget this month. And so I will look like, am I going to be needing to go to Costco and buying a giant thing of laundry detergent? Do we need paper towels? Do we need toilet paper? It's always a crazy month when it all falls together, you know, and that's like $60 extra you're spending. But I will look at that and put that in the house budget, and that's what has been the easiest for me. The things like toothpaste and that stuff, the reason that goes in the grocery budget is because those are not really expensive items. So it's easy just to pop that into that week's groceries. And I think to me that's the easiest. I, with budgeting, like to keep things just like my house really simple. So I don't like to have a ton of categories. I'd rather kind of lump stuff together as long as that still works and is effective. My number 2 question comes from Mrs. Ashley Teresa, and she has a YouTube channel, so I will link it down below. It's got a lot of cleaning videos. She does some minimalism, stuff like that, so I'll link that below. She asked, how do you stay on track throughout the month? Would love some practical tips on how to stay focused. And she went on in the question that I think she said that like she creates a budget every month, but then it's kind of hard to not forget about it, but actually stick with it. So there are several ways I would say to stay on track. The first thing though is going to be super simple, and that's that you have to want to add enough. So it's kind of like getting healthy, right? Like you have to really, the more committed you are to it, the better you're going to do at it. So if you want to have a budget, you have to completely commit to having a budget, or making one is not going to do any good. It's just like trying to get healthy. Either you're committing that you're going to, or you're going to continue to eat not healthy because you kind of want to, but you're not all in. So make sure you're all in. Ways to commit to budgeting, I would say, is figure out why it is you're budgeting. Dave Ramsey talks about this all the time, like knowing your why. So if you're in debt, why do you want to get out of debt? What is the long-term plan? What do you want your life to look like? If you're already out of debt, what do you want to be using your money for? So where do you want to be telling your money to go instead of wondering where every year it's all going? Like what do you want out of your life? Why it is that you're budgeting? So that's the first thing, is create a good why, and that'll help you to stay on track. The second thing, just some practical tips, is figure out where you are most and put your budget there. So I have tried doing like the Every Dollar app. Is a great app on my phone that you can link your budget into on the computer, and they have it for iPhone, and I think they have it for Android now too. And you can instantly put your purchases in after you make it, but I'm not on my phone enough for that to actually be good for me. Like I don't think to use my phone in that way, so that wasn't really effective. I tend to like old school, just having an Excel worksheet where I can, you know, get in the computer, I put it in my planner a couple times a week, update budget, and 2 to 3 times a week I'm in there making sure I'm calculating, writing down everything that we spent, and looking what's left in the budget for like groceries, anything that I'm not using cash for, my fund money, stuff like that. The other way, and I did this actually this last month, I did it in December and November because we were having computer problems, is I did an actual paper budget. And I actually like that best because I didn't have to turn on the computer to look at it. I'm not on a computer very much. And so I could just always pull out that sheet of paper and be like, okay, this is what's left. And this is where we're at, and this is how much of the kids' budget I have spent, and this is how much of the Christmas budget I have spent. So I would say figure out where you're going to be looking for it most so that you can keep track. So if you're on your phone, you're that kind of person, have a budgeting app and be able to, after you make the purchase, put it in. But if you're more of a pen and paper in your planner type girl like me, then have it there. If you want Excel, there's plenty of budgeting software that you can use and will remind you to use it. Set a reminder on your phone if you need to, hey, you need to be updating the budget a couple times a week to stay on top of it. That way you're not looking at purchases and you're like, okay, I spent $70 at Target, but how much of that was kids' budget? How much of that was grocery? Like, you already know because you're doing it soon enough after the transaction has occurred. Number 3 question is from MG9Will8. MGA8. I can't even read my own handwriting when I write fast, y'all. She says, I would love to know how you budget large home improvement projects while working the baby steps. I have $1,000 in savings and I'm working my debt snowball, but want to redo our hardwood floors and replace our drafty windows. So if you're not familiar with the baby steps, they are, the Dave Ramsey program is the baby steps, and number 1 is to save $1,000. Number 2 is to pay off all your debts, smallest to largest, with the exception of your home. Number 3 is to have fully funded emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Number 4 is to be saving 15% for retirement. Number 5 is to save for kids' college. Number 6 is to pay off your home. And number 7, once you've done all those others, is just to build wealth and give. So she has completed baby step number 1, the person asked the question, which is putting $1,000 away in your starter emergency fund, and she's on baby step number 2, snowballing her debt to have it all paid off with the exception of the debt of her home. So I would say just wait. Now, if you look at how long it's going to take you to pay off your debt, and know that you have to pay off your debt before you're going to do these other things. And that should motivate you even more to do everything you possibly can to crush that budget, to find some part-time jobs, find some other things to do, spend less in every other category so that you can get to those things you want. But I would not spend money on windows or floors because those are not actually emergencies. I know that you want to replace them, and maybe the windows are not as cost effective as brand new windows. You can always make those arguments, but I would still say don't do any of those things until you have all your debt paid off, and then save up cash for those things. If you need the extra motivation, then even start putting a little bit of money away as let's say you're paying $500 a month towards your debt, then figure out a way to get another $100 that you can start putting towards savings to those windows, and do the windows before the floor, figure out that kind of stuff. But I would definitely not do either one of those things until you have the debt snowball done. Dave Ramsey talks about this a lot, but the intensity you go at it is going to make a big, big difference. And so remember that while it may be hard, you're only doing it for a couple of years or X amount of time, 9 months, 5 years, whatever it is. And then, it's live like no one else now so you can live like no one else later, so you can get what you really want. So while it's sacrifice now, it will be worth it, I promise. If y'all have any other budgeting questions for me, I can do another video, or I can just message you or answer you back in the comments down below. I would love to talk to y'all there, and I will see y'all in my next video. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, y'all.